Hey guys, welcome to ImageCon. My name is Eric Hochberger. I am the CEO of Mediavine, and today we're going to be talking about changing the game with video. So I feel a little silly even having one of these slides in 2021, but I feel it's important just to cover. Video is extremely important, more important than ever. You can tell this from social media platforms that have all embraced video and are rewarding video, and of course from Zoom, how I'm talking to you today and how we are all surviving this pandemic. But why is video so important? Why does it do so much better? It's because it's a more engaging format. It's way more engaging than traditional text, and it's even more engaging than audio. And so you're seeing basically all of the different social media platforms changing their algorithms to reward people that do video. And that's because they have the goal of keeping users within their application. And that's the best way to do it. If a user is sitting there watching a video, they're going to binge watch multiple videos. If a user is just reading text, they might exit it and leave. So there's a reason why video works so well. But today, we're not here to talk about video on your social media platform. I want to talk about video on your website. So before I do that, let's talk a little bit about Mediavine so you know where we're coming from with this. Mediavine is an ad management company, so we exclusively represent the ad inventory of nearly 9,000 publishers. And that includes both their traditional banner ads and their video inventory. But we're also a publisher, and we've been a publisher since 2004. We own and operate Food Fanatic, The Hollywood Gossip, and TV Fanatic. And as a brand, we also embrace video. We use video to attract new customers through things like our YouTube channel. We also educate our customers through video. We engage with our customers in video in our Facebook groups. In short, everything is video for us. We use video on social media. We use video everywhere. But today, again, we're not here to focus about Mediavine using it as a brand or social media. We want to talk about how our publishers are using video on their websites, how you can too. Why should you run video? Well, because it's going to make you a lot more money and increase your traffic. But before you can get into video, you have to pick your video player, because this is the start of your video journey. So a lot of people traditionally have gone with YouTube, right? It's the easiest to get started on. Anyone can create an account, start uploading videos, and it takes care of everything magically for you. Sounds wonderful until you try to use YouTube on your website itself. And that's where you're going to discover that YouTube doesn't pay you very much relative to any of the other solutions out there. So I encourage you to use YouTube. Use it as basically a social media platform. You want to create videos, you want to attract their audience, but don't let those videos leave YouTube. Instead, on your website, take control. So there's two options here. One, you build it yourself, or two, you use a third-party player. So third-party players, I'm not going to name any of them. They probably spam your inbox all the time. There's tons of them. They will charge you lots of money or take a high revenue share of your ad earnings. Or you can actually do this yourself. And this sounds intimidating, but in 2021, it's not a big deal anymore. With modern web browsers, a video player doesn't have to do that much anymore. And there's this great open source project called video.js. And video.js is completely free and incredibly powerful. It has the ability to hook into any of the major ad servers. It has the ability to do things like closed captioning, playlists, sticky video players, everything I'm going to talk about in this presentation. You can do that all without paying a penny. And if that sounds intimidating to use an open source project, it's really not. Mediavine video player is pretty complex and built upon it, but there's also much simpler solutions. This is going to sound like a plug for Cloudinary, but they have a video.js player, again, also completely free, that combines a lot of the popular plugins and some custom functionality. Then again, you don't need a large dedicated tech resources to do this. I would encourage you to look at this before just going with a third-party solution, but either are fine, because at the end of the day, these tips will work for both. All right, so I'm going to give you 5 tips to maximize your video revenue. And so why are you paying attention to this? Because our publishers that do make 30 to 40% more revenue compared to our publishers that just run traditional banner ads. So again, I'm going to repeat that. Publishers that embrace video make 30 to 40% higher revenue than publishers that rely on just traditional banner ads. You cannot do much in this world to make 30 to 40% more revenue. So I encourage everyone to embrace video. All right, so tip number one, you're going to want to use Google Ad Manager as your ad server. I think traditionally a lot of publishers have thought of video players like maybe SpringServe or Spot Exchange or now SpotX as the video ad server that they have to use because that's what they do. They specialize in video. I'm going to give you a dirty secret here. Google Ad Manager, despite being a traditional banner ad server, is actually better at video. Maybe not as feature rich as some of the video ad servers. When it comes to just dollar for dollar, nothing is going to make you more money than running Google Ad Manager. And that's because you can hook it up with lots of other demand sources and what's called header bidding, or the idea of a real-time auction where advertisers are saying what they want to pay to show an ad to that exact user. Traditional video ad servers use what's called a waterfall, and they just send out the ad request to everyone, and they're based on historical payments of what previous auctions went for with those different advertisers. You want to know in real time what someone's willing to pay if you want to make top dollar. Header bid is extremely important in display banners, and it is just as important in video. And the way you're best going to do this is by using Google Ad Manager and then using something to bring in third-party demand. I always recommend prebid.js. It's an open source library. It is by far and away the most popular way that people do header bidding for display. You can also use it for video. And again, extremely easy to hook in with video.js or the Cloudinary player. There is documentation in prebid.js. But again, if you don't have the technical resources, the good news is once you're hooked into Google Ad Manager, you can use what's called open bidding. Open bidding means you can plug in any of the top demand sources just by reaching out to them. And the two of you just flip a switch and suddenly they're bidding on your inventory and raising up your revenue. And then if, again, you have some tech resources, you can do something like Amazon. It'll be a small one-time technical lift, and then Amazon can also flip on additional partners for you. So open bidding or Amazon if you don't have strong technical resources, or pre-bid if you do, or really combine them all like we do at Mediavine, even with our strong technical resources. Then, of course, necessary plug, if any of this sounds intimidating to you, there are always ad management companies such as Mediavine that can do the full stack for you. All right, this tip's going to seem obvious in retrospect, but I'm going to lead with it, and that is autoplay or scroll to play. You really have to embrace these if you're ever going to have a successful video campaign. So traditional click to play, as it's called, video players, see a small percentage of users actually click play on the video, 1 to 2%. There's a reason why when you go on things like Facebook or YouTube, they autoplay. And most of the time they autoplay without sound, so it's not a bad experience. The key here is that the user did not have to physically press play. Go to YouTube, click on any page, the landing page is autoplay, and there's a reason. Even a well-optimized page is never going to hit double-digit percentage of users clicking play. Autoplay hits 100% of your users. That is going to lead to basically almost a 50 to 100 time improvement in your revenue once you embrace autoplay or scroll to play. There was really almost no point to Mediavine doing video before we started embracing this. And so an important thing I want to note with autoplay or scroll to play, you will get slightly worse ad performance than click to play. But again, it is significantly more ad impressions and it will be worth it. So any video player you have, this should be a simple option to turn on autoplay. So very easy to embrace and something you should do. Quick note, we run scroll to play, and the only concept difference between that is that it's not in the first screen view. As you scroll down further, the video starts to play once it comes into view. So pretty popular on the web now. Again, something like a Facebook. The video doesn't start at the beginning of your feed, but as you scroll through, one might start to play. So that is called scroll to play. Tip number 3, make video sticky. You probably have seen this experience on the web. We'll admit maybe it's not the best user experience, but it is extremely vital to publishers and advertisers that this is run. And the reason why is because if you just left your video as autoplay inside the content and a user scrolled past it, it would be done playing. And users would maybe see a second or two. What's really important is that every user sees 2 seconds of video. That's how viewability is defined in our industry. And that's what drives advertisers to spend top dollar on your advertising. So you need 51% of the pixels is the exact engineering methodology behind it. But just think at least half of your video player needs to be seen by a user for 2 seconds. And you might think that sounds easy, but users scroll incredibly fast, especially on mobile. So that's where the sticky player has come into such popularity. As the user scrolls past it, now the player pops to one of the bottom corners or top corners and stays with the user as they scroll. This is going to allow you not only to optimize for viewability, but also what's known as a completion rate. And a completion rate is simply an advertiser measuring what percentage of the ad did a user see. Pretty obvious. It's measured in what are called quartiles, or 25, 50, 75, or 100%. If you have sticky video players, you're going to get close to 100%. Advertisers are going to love buying your ad inventory. And the best part of a sticky video player, it starts off inside the content. So it's considered a large player, which is something advertisers want, and you get high viewability and high completion rate. It's basically the trifecta that advertisers are looking for. So it's not just important that you have viewers watching your videos, but also that it's performing well for advertisers. So that's why you truly need to embrace a sticky video player. And again, this is functionality any player should be able to offer you. So again, in obvious news, you're going to want video on every page. So I can't tell you how often we have a publisher that will only run videos on maybe one or two of their posts, some of their top posts, and think, okay, I'm done. That's great, but that's probably only going to reach maybe 5 to 10% of your audience, depending on how popular your top pages are. You want to embrace closer to 90% or more of your traffic with video. Again, this is just obvious. If you only have 5 to 10% of your traffic with video versus 90%, you're going to make 9 times more by fully embracing video on every page. The way we solve this at Mediavine is we create what's called a featured playlist, or we take the top videos of a publisher and we will auto insert them into a page if we don't detect one on the page. So that playlist can just start playing really, and it fits in with any page. So you want to try to come up with a similar feature or use what we call the universal player. So the universal player is exclusive to Mediavine. And the idea is we run what are called outstream ads if we don't have a video player on the page. What is outstream? So first, it's important to define what in-stream is. In-stream is everything we've been talking about so far. The idea is a video advertisement that plays in-stream with the content. So either before the content, in the middle of the content, or after. So it's playing in the stream that the user is watching. Outstream just means there is no stream. It's playing outside of the stream. So you have probably seen these. These might be video players that are in the middle of the text, or in Mediavine's case, it's just replicates similar to the sticky video player experience. You just get an outstream ad in the bottom right-hand corner. So we run outstream when we don't have in-stream for a publisher. Outstream doesn't pay as well as in-stream, but it's a lot easier to get our publishers to embrace something that doesn't involve creating video content. And maybe not every publisher is going to have multiple videos on every page. So outstream is a great way to supplement your in-stream to make sure you get a video on every page. Similar to making sure you get a video on every page, you want to actually make sure you get multiple videos on every page. So this is really the concept of a playlist, or if you think about, again, the YouTube experience or even a Netflix streaming, when you finish watching the current video, they start showing you the next one, or they'll give you a preview and start showing it in 5 seconds. That up next, or that binging experience, can also be replicated on the web, and it's extremely important because you can get a user to watch 2, maybe 3 videos on a page view if you have short form content. That's another important thing to note. This is the web. This isn't someone sitting on their couch watching a show. You're not going to get them to watch a 30-minute long video. You're probably not going to get them to watch a 5-minute long video. Think 30 seconds, a minute and 30. Think incredibly short form content. That's about probably how long most users are going to be on your page. And your goal is to see if you can get them to see multiple advertisements or multiple videos. So think short and think, how can I get a playlist onto a page rather than just a video? Again, at Mediavine, we use a feature we call Up Next, where after a video ends, we automatically will show a publisher's top videos if they didn't embed a playlist instead of a video, just to make sure every page can get not only a video, but multiple videos. And we saw over a 50% improvement to revenue. All right, so hopefully you're convinced, you're embracing video and making a lot more money, but I have some good news for you. Video doesn't just improve your revenue. I'm gonna give you a bonus tip because video can also improve your traffic. And the reason why is because video is something that Google loves, as I'm sure you're aware. They run a little thing called YouTube. And so they want it in their search results as well. Just as every social media provider wants users to watch video, Google wants users to watch video. So they're going to reward you if you have video on your page. A lot of publishers maybe incorrectly think that you need to run YouTube if you want to take advantage of Google searches video. That's not true. As long as you have what's called schema.org markup and actually really a video sitemap, you ideally want both. You can be eligible for all of those Google, what are called video carousels. So you probably have noticed them when you're searching in Google. A lot of let's say a how-to search is going to result in videos at the very top of the page. You can get into those spots if you have video markup on your page. And that can actually boost you right to the very top of the search engine result pages. And as you can imagine, you're going to get a much higher click-through when you get a big thumbnail that's sometimes animated compared to the text results. Remember, video is more engaging. So it is a great little hack to get you to the top of the search engine result pages. And it's extremely easy to do. Google has a guide on how to do this. And most major CMSs will either offer it built in, or you can run a plugin if you're using something like WordPress to be able to help you make video schema. Again, plug alert, the Mediavine video player does this automatically. So you might want to reach out to your third-party video provider. They might be able to do the same. So don't just embrace video for increased revenue, but do it for increased traffic. So thank you guys. That was my presentation.